Welcome to my channel. Nitsa Son. Oh my God, I have to do this video right now because then I'm gonna lose the thought. And I don't want to lose the thought. Okay? Because I just watched, Blueface's mother. And I saw her in me. There's a video that went viral. My daughter with her husband in my house, that I left in my house. And I just want her to understand this. We think with our emotions. If you ever see this video, okay? Her name is Kerlissa. Listen to what the lady was telling you. We think with our emotions, and this is what I learned after 30 years, 20 something years of 20 something years of therapy. I also did instruct myself. And not only I instructed myself, but I went through my whole life abuse. So I'm gonna, I gotta go to work, but I wanted to share this video so it can get to you. And I'm pretty sure it will. I'm gonna do it in Spanish also. However, what she was saying, let me put my glasses because, for me to do, in order to do this video, and I apologize for the way I look, okay? But I really don't care what anybody says. I have a purpose. Everybody has a purpose in life. And I really don't care how I look. If I have makeup, some days I put makeup, some days I don't. And today was one of those days because I'm a little sick. Okay? I have that virus, the lung virus going on. Okay? But I saw your interview. And I just I started crying because it reminded me of me. And yes, and I was just like you. I used to excuse my kids, and it was an excuse because I went through a lot of trauma. Because you went through a lot of trauma. Because you have a good heart. Because what you do, you don't think maliciously. You're impulsive, and maybe you say things that offend your kids, like you said it in the video, but you don't do it exactly to offend them. You do it out of impulsivity in the moment. However, we're excusing our children. And why? Because we are hurt mentally. We've been abused. Your mother probably didn't love you the way you wanted her to. And you have to understand that your mom is the way she is, and you're never going to get the love that you really wanted from your mother. And yeah, everything is based on trauma. But you can't allow, because your kids have trauma, you got to put a stop to it. Because it happened to me. They got me sick. If I would have continued and I wouldn't have taken my kids, it got to the point where they were mentally abusing me. Okay? Not only physically, mentally. They didn't get to physically abuse me because I'm strong still. I'm 48 and I'm still strong. And I had my first child at 17 also. But I'm going to tell you one thing. I'm a smart ass woman. And I kept on instructing myself. And I have a friend. Her name is Kathy. And she studies psychology. She kept on telling me, sometimes people don't practice what they do, but however, they can help you. It's like me. I can help everybody else, but it's hard when you in a situation and you try to, you can't help yourself because you're the one feeling the pain. And it's hard for you to get out and let go. But you have to let go of your children. The more excuse we give our children, the more they use their trauma, and that's what my kids were doing. And if you hear my daughter talking, It's like she's excusing her behavior with lies. And then not only they're going to use their trauma, but they're going to start lying. Okay? Because they're going to see that people give them attention. And they're going to like that attention that we didn't give them because we didn't receive it. We gave them attention otherwise. We gave them attention. We gave them what our parents didn't give us. We didn't get both. Attention, neither. We was broke. But now we give them, they had what we didn't have, but also emotionally. So they draining you. They're sucking the living, and you're gonna at the end you're gonna lose your husband like I did. Okay? And I'm not saying my husband was a good person, because the way he left me, he gave me another hurt that made me even more resilient. I don't regret that he left, because if he would have really loved me, he wouldn't have left me the way he did when I was dealing with my daughter and I was dealing with my kids, the disrespect. He saw the disrespect, but he didn't know how to approach it, because he never gave my kids love. At the end of the day, he never earned. And in my head, I was thinking he never earned the love, so he can say anything to my kids. So over him, I would defend my kids, and I would go against him. I would be like, you're not touching my kids. Like, it was always overprotecting them. We get used to the abuse or mental abuse, kerlissa. And this is directly to you. And we continue the cycle by letting our kids abuse us, not only mentally, but physically. Maybe you can stop for them not to hit you, but you're still going to let them abuse you mentally, because you're used to this abuse, because you're used to being in pain. We're always in pain. We always want acceptance from our kids. So we go 150% for them. No matter what we do, we can fight everybody in the world. Their wife, this, that, everybody in the world. But at the end of the day, they will never appreciate, and they will never understand why we did it. So they start taking advantage of mommy's there. Mommy is there for me. Oh, no matter what, she's going to defend me. No matter what, she's going to give, And then your other son then comes in, that your other son sees how this one does this. And then they're going to want to do it too, because it happened. It's a lot of things that's got to do with these kids abusing. And this is why my purpose of my channel in Spanish. And I opened this channel just for a purpose. I was pulling people in using tactic. So people at the end of the day can see what mental abuse, everybody talks about kid abuse and children abuse, but they don't come and see that there's also parent abuse. And yes, I'm not going to say I'm the best and I'm the perfect parent, but my daughter, the little one, I never hit her. When she was a baby, I never touched my daughter. You know why? Because I realized that I was doing wrong by hitting my son. I brought up my son hardcore. And because I didn't know any better. I was getting abused by men. I went through domestic violence. I went through molestation, sexual abuse. I went through all this, and my mother would blame everything on me. My mother was like, she didn't understand why, since I was little, I was a rebel. Since I was like 4 or 5, I was out of control. But you know why? Because I have been sexually molested. And she didn't know. And I guess she didn't know better either. Back in the days, there was no internet. Nobody was able to instruct themselves. And, the list goes on and on. If you look at it and you continue looking and looking for an excuse for your children, you're going to go through it. You're gonna go through it, and it's like we're used to it. It's like we look for it. So I did the same mistake, and so I understand that I was attracting men that mentally abused me, and I stopped that one. So I thought so. So when I stopped it, I thought I did. And a friend of mine comes to me and says, no, you haven't stopped the abuse, because your kids are abusing you still, and you don't realize it. And I was like, whoa, because I'm the type of person that I do listen. I listen. I have friends. My family has been my friends. And, you know, when she told me that, it opened up my eyes, and I said, you know what? You're right. I didn't think about it that way. And you're absolutely right. So I started working on myself, and I met this guy, and this guy he likes to abuse women mentally. So I almost fell into it. I didn't, because I told him since the beginning, I said, you're a narcissist. We're not going to get along. Okay, because I had stopped men abusing me. So, you know, at the end, you know, he did something very, very narcissist. He was copying everything I said. He was trying to mock me. I said, you know what? Goodbye. I'm not even going to argue with you. Okay, so that was that. But anyway, at the end of the day, when she, you know, I kept on, I couldn't get away from my kids, because you have so much love for your kids. You are so blind. You don't want your kids to go through, to see what you saw, to go through what you went through, to go through that pain. But what we don't realize is that everybody doesn't want good for us. Everybody doesn't think like us. There are people out there that are very calculated. There are people out there that have a cold heart. So we excuse our children, and we excuse them, you know, thinking that they have the same heart that we do, and they don't. Okay? The more you excuse them, the more they're going to do, because they're going to say, oh, mommy got this. You know, it's okay. She'll come back. My son used to tell me, oh, you know, she'll get over it. You know, just like that. I would get upset, and he would be like, oh, she'll get over it. You know, and I didn't realize how much abuse he was putting, you know, and he used to say that he was a narcissist, but I just didn't realize how much, you know, how bad that is. It's an epidemic anyway, especially nowadays, these children, the society, there's a combination of things that make these kids do have trauma. And this is the thing, kerlissa. You know, I did the same mistake. So I understood that I was attracting men that mentally abused me. I stopped it, and I thought I stopped it. And my friend told me years, you know, your kid's still abusing you. Okay, so the more I did was scream, curse at my mom when I was young. Because you know how they say, you know, if you do this to your mother, you're going to pay for it, and this and that. So I started thinking, and I said, wow, you know, my mom was on top. Like, she would leave me bald spots. You know, she burnt me with a cigarette. She would beat the shit out of me like you know, like the wine girl said. Okay, what's her name? Because where I saw this interview was on Wine with Shaq. So, you know, she said it. But you know what? I changed my life. And you know why I changed my life? Because I was alone also. And I didn't have nobody to nurture me. So I had to learn, you know, by like she said, I had to learn by myself. Nobody came to me and nurtured me and put excuses for me. I had to learn, you know. So I know what's right from wrong. When you go to a court, in the court, and you go for reason of insanity, you don't go for reason of insanity means that you're not up here. Not that you have traumas, because even if you're bipolar, you have ADD, ADHD, I don't care what borderline personality, whatever you have, you know that, okay, that if you're going to hit your mom, that's wrong. But you come and do it anyway. Because you're whoever, because you're this person and that person. Nah, that doesn't work like that in the court. In the court, you have to be really, really insane. Where you don't see people, you really have to be insane. Anyway, I'm not going to give too much ideas. The more I did, and my mom, out of frustration of her beating me, and I was tired of her beating me, so I would never beat my mother. One time she fell. I still have that in my head. We was arguing, and it was slippery. She was mopping, and she fell, and she cut her eyebrow. And I went crying in the plane because I loved my mom, but I wanted her to love me a certain kind of way, and I never had it. And I was looking for that love in people. I was looking for that love and searching for that love. So I would go 150 for everything I did. Even working. When I worked, I gave 150. So I could get only that appreciation. And I just wanted to hear it. You did good. Because I never had that from my mom. I never had my mom saying, I'm proud of you. This is, I'm proud. And you look for it. You look for that acknowledgement. That's all you're looking for. And looking for love from your kids. The love you didn't receive. And here they are abusing you. Mentally abusing you. Like they did to me. I've been in antidepressant ever since my daughter. I left her in my house. She came trying to beat me with her husband. And he recorded it. Looking for fame. And then they lied. And you could hear that she was looking for fame. And you could hear in the video that it was all, it was like a trap. You could see it was, if you're a mother, you can see that. You can tell it was a trap. But anyway, the more I did, there is also a lot of contamination. And these bacteria, viruses, and also, are also giving these kids anxiety, depressions, being born with ADD, with autistic. These bacteria go to your nervous system. And also, it's a combination of the contamination, of our traumas, of everything. But it's not all us. I used to blame myself all the time. And my psychologist kept on saying, it's not your fault. You gotta give yourself credit. You did what you did as a parent. You have to let go. It was hard for me to let go of my children. And I saw they were committing mistakes, and I would want to get in, but you can't, because they already have a mind of their own. And they already want to do their own thing. So there's nothing we can do. At the end of the day, and you have to let them learn the way I learned. With the mistakes, with the hitting themselves on the floor. We always gonna baby them. And they're always going to be our babies and parent them. And we're going to excuse them for everything they do. But you know what? You have to let go and be happy with your husband. You have to. At the end of the day, everyone has trauma. If you look in this world, everybody has trauma. But we can't excuse people for trauma. A lot of people, an aggressive law. Okay, hold on. We can't be excused people for traumas. I'm sorry. It's like a lot of people. That's why there's, if you excuse people for their traumas, we have to have better laws. Because the laws are also let people get away with things. And the law gets stupider and stupider. That's what I think. At the end of the day, and I have a father that was locked up. I've been locked up too, but I'm not going to excuse that. I'm not going to excuse my behavior either. I'm not. whatever I did, I didn't follow the rules, and that's why, whatever. And it was actually not my, and I'm going to tell you, they hit me, a man hit me, and I hit him back, and whatever. It was a toxic relationship, and I ended up locked up, but I came out. Okay. The law will make people not act out on traumas, but society has also at fault for how young kids react towards trauma. I think that the law got to do too, because it's like I said, trauma, you could have bipolar, ADHD, etc. That doesn't mean you don't know from right from wrong. And that's why when you go to court, the reason of insanity, meaning you don't know right from wrong at this time of whatever situation. However, a father, like she said, is very important in the role of a person, of any child, because the father gives you security. The mother gives you the self-esteem. So no matter how you put it, both of them are necessary. So you did like I did, the role of a mother and a father. And that's another problem, because we're doing both. At the end of the day, the bringing up of a child, they need their father, point blank. Acceptance, you want so much acceptance that you go 100. I said that before. Okay, now, it hits us hard to be betrayed by our own kids, and we don't know how to cope with it. At the moment, we don't. And that's why, and we don't want to lose our kids and their love, so we continue excusing them. And they continue abusing us. And they continue growing up as a narcissist in this era. In this, that's why there's a narcissist is like a there's a it's like a, oh my God, a plague. There's a lot of people that are narcissists out there. There's so many, little, it's just, you can, out of 100 people or 1,000 people, only 2 people, maybe they're good and good-hearted and they have good intentions. And I know that you're a good mother. And I know that you're resilient as fuck. You're resilient. You went through hell and back to get your kids where they at. I know. Because everything you said, it was the mirror of me. Like, it was like I was like that. And my friend kept telling me, you're blind, Nitsa. And my psychologist kept telling me, you're not ready to see your mother. Because you're not ready. Because I was trying to prepare myself to see my mother. And she said, you're not ready. You know why you're not ready? Because first you got to be ready. You got to learn how to let go. And how to not blame yourself for things that are not everything is not your fault. Anyway. You honor your mom, but you're mentally hurt by your parent, Kerlissa. And wanted your parent to be a certain way. And you never got it. So you gave it to your kids. Your job is done. After they marry and they turn adult, you was a good parent. Let them do. Let them hurt themselves on their own. If you're there, they're going to have somebody to blame, which is you. So just get out. Because I found that my kids were blaming everything on me. And I'm like, what? What? I'm the one. What? Like, how are you going to say that? And then you're going to continue with more trauma. And you're going to continue building more walls. And you're going to continue suffering. It's time for you to let go, Kerlissa. We have to stop looking for an excuse. And you have to stop letting your kids abuse you mentally and physically. And it's going to get worse. It doesn't get better. because then the other one is going to say, and you think no, but yes, I'm telling you, it happened to me. Until I realized I had to let go and try and be happy and get somebody that give me peace. I haven't found the give me peace side because, men think they too slick, and I'm a woman that I've been through hell and back, and I know what, I can't be controlled at all. I don't want to be controlled. I suffer too much to have a life of, being in prison kind of thing and being controlled. I have to do me. And once a guy tries to control me, that's it. They got to go. But I didn't have no one to nurture that behavior, so I grew out of it. And I better my life. If you don't let them grow out of it on their own, they're not gonna better themselves. Because they got mommy. But when you're not here, what's gonna happen? They're gonna suffer more. Because then, you're not gonna be able to, if something happens to you, God forbid, and you die or something, then they're gonna suffer the consequences, because all they're gonna see is my mom. So you have to let them let them do their own. If I continue with my kids, they're gonna continue. They're gonna kill me. It was to the point where I was in the hospital every day. Until now, I'm real good. I take my antidepressant and I'm good. And I call them the I don't give a fuck pills. It helped me. I don't know. Everybody is different. I even got to be a workaholic. Now I'm not. Because I wanted to fulfill that emptiness with something, which it was work or whatever. And we are smart people, so smart people, they don't stop. They always got to do something. Clean this, move that, move. When you're not that smart, you just lay back. You sit on that chair, you think. Geniuses, not smart. Let me not call this. See what I'm saying? We're impulsive with words. Not smart. Everybody's smart in their own way. I'm talking about genius type of shit. Geniuses, they can't stay still. They always continuous gotta do something. But anyway, you don't do things maliciously. However, not everyone is like you. Just put that in your head. Not everyone is like me. We are impulsive. We don't plan things. So I think it's like that. So we tend to excuse everyone. But we have to realize, kerlissa, that not everybody is your friend. It took me a friend, Kathy. It took me a psychologist, 25 years. It took me instructing myself. It took me to realize that it only takes a smart and resilient woman to realize it. And to realize what are we doing is worse. Get away. Live your life. Live happy. It's time for you to. They're not going to respect you. It's going to get worse. Trust me. It got worse in my case. Okay? My son put his hands on me twice. And then he had the excuse of saying, oh, but you beat me. Okay, yeah. But I'm I'm the mother. It's not like I beat him. I brought him up hardcore. And I didn't abuse either. Because I didn't beat him for any little thing like they used to beat me. But then I realized in the middle of the way that I was wrong. And that I had to do something about it. And I changed it. And I promised him and I promised myself. I said, I'm never going to touch you again. And I never did. Never did. Even when he put his hands on me, I said, I didn't touch him back. Because I had made a promise. And I said, I'm not going to touch you. My daughter, I never touched her. But that was the one that, came into my house. And we think with our emotions. Kerlissa. We think with our emotions. Like for example, Kashawn. You knew she was problems. But what happened? that because of the love you have for your son, you still was there in that house to help your son succeed. And then boom, that happened. You understand what I'm saying? Because we don't think with our mind, we think with our heart. And you have to stop thinking with your heart. You gotta stop thinking and learning that not everyone is good. And there's a lot of manipulators out there. There's a lot of people that fake being good. And they really not. And just because we're like and loud, okay, we're the bad ones. Because we're the truth tellers. Because we don't let nobody mess with us. Because we and our past. Anyway, I'm going to continue doing this because this was my purpose. This is exactly, and I don't know. God told me to watch. I couldn't sleep, and I watched your interview, and it was awesome. Because I said, thank you, God, because this is where I wanted to go to. There is a lot of mental abuse towards parents these days. And I remember I used to want to leave my house, but I didn't tell my mom, things like, oh, she'll get over it. Oh, it's crazy how these kids, like, you have to because you're my mother. What? Excuse me? I have to what? Give you what? Because I'm your mother? No. You're already an adult. I don't have to give you shit. If I give you something, it's because I want to. And because it's a privilege for you, for your mom to continue helping you. Okay? Because I already did what I had to do. And Kerlissa, you did what you had to do with your kids. Be happy. Go on vacation. Go with your husband. Have peace before it's too late and you get sick. Anyway, that's what I have to say. Nitsa Zone. I love all of y'all. And I hope that this gets to Kerlissa, Blueface's mother. I don't know you, and I already got love for you, girl. I love everybody. But I got more compassion. Not love because I can't, but I got so much compassion for you, girl. For what you've been through. And I hope that he wakes up and he smells the coffee. And it's a good thing that he doesn't have kids with Krishan. Because Krishan, yeah, she has traumas. And I get that. She has a lot of traumas. But that doesn't mean you touch anybody's mother. Because she wouldn't want somebody to go and beat the crap out of her mother. Or her, she don't care about her father because her father, that's where the trauma came from, her father. But she wouldn't like somebody to just come and beat the crap out of her mother. You see, nobody likes that. So come on. And I know that you didn't hit her. And I know that if you would have went crazy, probably it would have been on. These kids, they think they're too tough. Because you don't want to do nothing. It's not the same. You're fighting with your kids. Like, that's crazy. You don't want to. You don't want to touch your kids. You don't want to hit your kids. But it comes to that point where you're like, what? You're not going to hit them like, and you're not going to fight them like they're from the street. Never. Like, I get it. So anyway, please, I hope you get this message. And I hope that you guys share it until it gets to Kerlissa. I don't know how to, I'm still learning this technology shit. So I don't know how, I'm sick. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know how to make it to get to her. But if somebody knows how to, it's fine. So it can get to her. And she can see this. And maybe it will open up her eyes and it would help her. Thank you, guys. Nitsa-san, de corazón.